Deanna Jones, thanks for coming
Hello.
on to talk about your experience. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. I appreciate you for having me.
Do we want to do the Indiana Jones joke now or later?
Oh, totally. Whenever. Yeah. Indiana Jones. Like, just without the end part. Yes.
Not spoiler alert, folks. It's not Indiana Jones. It's Deanna Jones.
It is Deanna Jones.
Still working on Indiana Jones. We'll get him after you, Deanna.
Right.
Deanna, let's start here. Tell me what was going on in the business before we started working together.
Well, I was fairly new in my business. I was less than 6 months in. I just felt like I was really floundering everywhere. I felt like I was just spinning wheels. I was not getting any leads, and what leads I was getting were really low ticket. And even then, it took a lot of convincing to get them. There was no real clear message. It was just really a lot of work for no return, really.
And so I'm curious, and actually we're refreshing my memory here. How did we find each other, and then what made you reach out to me for a conversation?
I actually saw one of your ads on Facebook, and it was a video ad, and it was saying, okay, well, if you want to generate LinkedIn, I think it was LinkedIn leads, come watch this really quick video. And so I clicked on it and I watched it was a really short video. I think it was only like a couple minutes long. And I really liked what you had to say, and I liked your personality. So at the bottom of it was, get a free 15-minute call. So I was like, sure, why not? Clicked on the 15-minute call. And from there, it was like within 5 minutes of that 15-minute call, I mean, you asked a question and it was like, well, why aren't you doing what you like to do? And I was like, well, it's stupid. No one would take me serious. And you're like, well, humor me. What is it? And I was like, well, I want to do videos because that's where my passion is. That's where my expertise is in. That's what I really want to do. And you're like, well, then why don't you? And I was like, I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. And it was that simple question that got me thinking, like, oh crap, maybe I can just do it. And it made me think, and I was like, oh, maybe I should just switch everything. So that's kind of
Doesn't it suck when you're like, oh, maybe I can do the thing that I wanted to do? Crap.
Yeah, like, oh, maybe I can. That's cool. Hey.
So obviously you jumped into the program, and I want to talk about your experience in the program, but I'm curious, there's lots of places you could have gone for help with marketing, lead generation strategy, etc. At the end of the day, why'd you choose to work with me, and why'd you choose to join the 90-day pipeline?
To be honest with you, it was your no BS approach, and you were just a really approachable person. I liked that you weren't salesy, you were just honest. I felt like I could talk to you pretty immediately. And I'd watched so many other people that did lead gen stuff, and it was all bragging and this is how awesome I am and yada, yada, yada. And you were just not like that at all. It was just like, I can help you. But ultimately, I want to make sure it's a good fit for you. And it was all about how you could help me and not bragging about how awesome you were. And that was a big difference compared to a lot of other people that I saw.
So I didn't show you pictures of my car, because I probably meant to.
No.
You want to see them now?
No car pictures.
Awesome. So you jumped in, Deanna, and I want to talk through now. What were some of the big shifts you experienced in the program? We'll take them one by one. What was the first big thing that you got out of our work together?
Oh, I mean, pretty much like exploring what happened on our exploratory call, like our first call, right? Is shifting my idea of being very general and trying to cast a big net and doing all these things that I hated, right? To try to make money, and really shifting my focus into something that I was really passionate about and that I knew and I had a really high experience in, and being able to turn that around and not only help people, but make a living doing it.
What is it? I want to dig into that a little bit more, because it's you glossed over some things that are really important. What does it feel like to go to market with something that when a client says yes, it's 100% within your zone of genius, you're passionate about it, you love the work? Like, how does that feel different from going out and selling things that you ultimately don't even want to deliver on?
Oh, it's like night and day different. I mean, being able to help people with something that I love is the greatest feeling. It's like that feeling when like you would expect to like be given a Cadillac for your 16th birthday, right? Or like a Camaro, right? You're just like, I can do this, and you know, I get this. I get to do this for a living. It's night and day, because I hated getting up in the morning. I hated everything about what I was doing, and now I don't. And that's a life-changing aspect.
Why do you think you didn't see that for yourself to begin with? What do you think the blocker was there?
A lot of it had come from my mindset. I had gone through a lot of really hard things in the years previous, a lot of medical issues with my husband and a whole bunch of other things. And I think that I was just in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, you kind of get blinders on to anything. Like you stop worrying about what you want or what you really want to go after, and you start doing just whatever it takes to put food on the table or get through whatever that issue is. So getting to work with somebody that reminded me that it's okay. It's okay to want things and to want to grow things. And it's okay to go after what you really love to do. And it's okay to help people with it, is simple, but life-changing when you live in that kind of a bubble.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. So Deanna, that was the first thing, is we got you really, really focused on an area of work, a specialization, if you will, that was aligned with your passion, your expertise. You had a great track record doing this stuff, and we got you focused in that direction. What happened next?
It allowed me to get my confidence back. Kind of what I touched on before, when you're in that bubble, you lose all sense of confidence, even though you know, like, you have all the things to prove that you do what you do and you do it well. You know, there's always those little voices inside you that, you know, are like, well, you know, maybe not. Even though you have proof, you have actual proof. So being able to go through and get my confidence back and be able to look myself in the mirror and be like, yes, like, this is who you always have been. This is who you are. Like, this is how you're going to grow. That's getting my confidence back from.
It's not something that we talk about very much in our marketing, but I know the mindset lessons that we do in the program have had a pretty profound impact on you. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. A lot. Like, more than I can ever say. It's changed everything for me. Everything about my life, everything about how I do business, everything about how I feel about myself. I can look at myself in the mirror and be happy of the progress that I've become. I'm starting to feel like myself, you know, before all this stuff happened, but like version 2.0, right? So like a better version.
Yeah, people underestimate how the way you feel about yourself in all the aspects of your life informs your business. When you feel better about yourself, you're really locked in, confidence wise, self-image wise, motivation wise. You're going to do better in business, right? You're going to sell more. You're going to be more confident. That's going to rub off on everything you do.
Yeah. People, like, everyone tells you mindset's like 80% of the battle, right? Or 70% or whatever. And you kind of go, yeah, of course. Like, you want to be positive or whatever, but it's so much deeper than that. Cause that was me, like, yeah, sure. Mindset is important, and, you know, being positive, and, you know, but it's so much deeper than that. It's literally how your brain is wired, like having to rewire your brain to feeling specific ways about yourself and about how you are in both personal life and business life. And it does affect everything in ways that you can't even imagine until you start going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's like you haven't been there. It's hard to even fathom some of this stuff, but that's awesome to hear. So now we've got a direction, we've got confidence. You're starting to feel better about the direction. What happened next?
Well, things started happening. You know, I started putting processes in place from early on, just really starting to dig deep in between mindset and giving actionable steps through the program of how to change from where I was to where I'm going and where I'm continuing to grow. It gave me a really clear, basically, map of how to get from where I was to where I want to be. And I've already started to see massive improvements across the board. My calendar is maxed this week and next week with potential consults and potential leads. And that's something that I was begging for 1 or 2 calls, you know, a couple months ago. So that's just massively huge.
Tell me a little bit more about the caliber of the people that are on your calendar.
Oh, they are, you know, upper management, C-level CEOs of companies that have, you know, pretty large teams. They are startups. They're in all different industries, because the good thing about video is it's pretty much everyone needs it. So I get to work with a really high caliber of people, C-level execs, marketing companies, startups, pretty much you name it, but they all have high tickets, they have high income, a large team of people that they manage and they have to maintain. And it's really awesome because I get to work with a whole bunch of different industries. And so it keeps a really high variety of the type of content I get to produce. So I love it.
I think there's some dollar signs in your eyes there I'm seeing, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they're really cool too. They're all over the world, which is like also the best part, is I get to work with people cross-culturally, which is pretty phenomenal.
Totally. So I know one of the big shifts we made with you is, even when we got into this specific niche that you're working in now, we leveled up the offering to be less tactical, more strategic on the front end, right?
Yeah.
Tell me how that's changed the sales conversations and the way that people perceive you now that we have a higher level, more strategic offering.
Well, initially when people come to me and they hear that I do video, it's all like, oh, cool, can you edit a video for me? I'm like, yep, absolutely. But how do you know it's going to work? And they go, oh, I don't know. And I was like, well, maybe we should talk about that. Let's explore that a little bit. Because, you know, as a film producer, we were end to end on all projects. You know, we were the ones that hired everybody, that made sure that the business was right. We're the ones that deal with investors and making sure that they get their money's worth. I mean, if they're going to drop $5 million or $60 million on a movie, they want to make sure that they get their money back. So you have to make sure that everything is strategically planned out. And it's something that even falls over into video marketing, even on, you know, whether it's a video on your website or a course or an ad, you know, there actually needs to be strategy that goes behind it, because otherwise you're just posting and praying that it gives you a return. And that's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. And ultimately they're not going to get the results they want. So when I talk to people about that aspect of it, they usually stop and go, oh, that's something I've never even considered before, that's something I need to think about. And, you know, that's changed drastically, you know, everyone's shift in perspective from what they thought they were going to need from me to, oh crap, maybe I need a little bit more help in this than I thought. So it's changed the sales calls pretty drastically into more of a, oh, maybe I should get consulting and some strategy and then work with content after I figure that out. So it's shifted quite a bit.
And the price tag's gone up as well, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if you need strategy on top of content, you know, it's two sides of the same coin, but it's 2 totally different time frames and effort. And so it's made the price tag go up for both, for sure.
Awesome. Deanna, tell me a little bit about the experience inside the program. What did you find most valuable, but the way it was delivered, the ways that we interact, you know, how'd you find all that? Oh
man. I loved our calls the most, whether it was group or not. I loved seeing and interacting with other members that were also going through the program. And there's, you know, ways that we can interact and message with each other and support each other, which was super great. So we were like our own little community of people that were all going through basically the same thing, just at different levels and in different industries. So it kind of created a little mini family, I guess. And I really loved that. And we could all help each other, because there were, you know, sometimes people would post a question up on one of our forums or something, and it was something that was in somebody else's expertise, and they would just pop in. And that type of access to not only your knowledge, but the knowledge of all the other people that are in the group is just totally invaluable. And it helps us all grow, right? The whole rising tide raises all boats kind of a thing.
Absolutely. Awesome. Deanna, tell me this, someone watching this video and they're in the position that you were in, you know, 90 days ago, where they're looking for a new direction, want to reposition, not crazy about what they're doing, want more leads, want to build pipeline. they're watching this and they're wondering, should I jump into the program? What would be your advice to them?
Oh, hell yeah, you should have jumped into it a week ago. Okay, I guess I shouldn't cuss. So heck yes, you should you should jump in. It's nerve-wracking, and I know that trying to get a coach for any sort of anything is nerve-wracking. You know, you should definitely find somebody that speaks to you, but if you're looking for a way to do better lead gen, if you're looking for a way to better yourself and your business all in one, there's no one else I would rather work with, hands down.
I really appreciate that, Deanna. That means a lot.
Yeah, well, the truth.
You're not going to cry, are you?
Not yet.
Okay, well, let's wrap up before you do. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been fantastic.
Thank you, and thank you for everything. This has been wonderful.